Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating and honestly pretty surprising transformation in the automotive world, the all-new 2026 Volkswagen Passat. Now, for decades, the Passat has basically been the absolute definition of quiet, sensible transportation. It was your dependable, everyday family hauler. But as we're about to see, this new iteration has quietly evolved into something much bigger, significantly more refined, and surprisingly, a lot more ambitious.
So here's the big question driving enthusiasts and daily commuters alike are asking. Has the Passat kinda lost its identity along the way? I mean, what happens when a car historically known for grounded practicality suddenly grows in size, packs in all this advanced technology, and clearly starts challenging premium rivals? Does its newfound ambition come at the cost of the very essence that made it a household name to begin with? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Section 1. Playing it safe outside, and the silver lining of conservative design.
Right out of the gate, you'll notice Volkswagen's approach to the exterior styling is, well, it's incredibly intentional. It doesn't scream for attention, right? Instead, it stays fiercely loyal to VW's traditionally understated vibe. Look at the proportions. They're noticeably stretched out, giving the car this lower, much more planted stance on the road. And that horizontal focus across the front grille, it blends seamlessly right into those slim LED headlights, making the whole car appear wider and more road-focused. Now, if you opt for the R-Line trim, you do get slightly larger air intakes and a beefier bumper, but it still heavily avoids looking, overly aggressive. Around back, there's a really sharp full-width light bar that adds a great modern touch, paired with a subtle spoiler. Oh, and crucially, it keeps a wide, highly practical tailgate opening. So they definitely haven't abandoned functional usability. It all feels incredibly cohesive.
And this brings us to a pretty massive debate. On one hand, this restraint offers a real silver lining of timeless practicality. That upright front end gives you excellent forward visibility, which is honestly a rarity these days, and it's a design that's going to age beautifully. But on the flip side, in a segment where competitors are constantly rolling out aggressively bold designs, the Passat's reserved look risks just fading into the background. So the crucial point is this. If you want a car that immediately turns heads, this might feel a bit too safe. But if you value everyday usability in a design that won't look totally outdated in 3 years, it quietly hits the nail on the head.
Moving on to Section 2, upscale and tech-heavy inside, the digital transformation.
Now step inside, and whoa, the contrast is genuinely jarring. You leave that safe, traditional exterior completely behind and step into a totally different world. The cabin has undergone a massive digital shift. It feels undeniably upscale, absolutely dominated by this huge central screen and a super sharp digital instrument cluster. Pair that with rear legroom that honestly rivals an executive sedan, and suddenly it feels way less like a traditional family hauler and way more like a high-end luxury lounge.
Technology is the undeniable focus here. The 2026 Passat is armed with a highly refined suite of driver assistance systems. We're talking adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and some really robust semi-autonomous driving capabilities deeply integrated into the experience. It's pulling right up to the bumper of true premium luxury offerings.
But, ambition usually comes with compromises. Our sources highlight a pretty glaring issue here. The interface definitely requires a learning curve. And honestly, the menus just aren't immediately intuitive. VW has essentially ditched physical buttons for touch surfaces. Sure, it looks incredibly sleek sitting on a showroom floor, but imagine you're doing 70 miles an hour down the highway and you just want to turn down the AC. Prioritizing aesthetics over usability like that can be incredibly frustrating. By pushing so hard into this high-tech space, Volkswagen really risks alienating drivers who value the simple, tactile interface of older models.
Section 3, smooth driving, higher price, the reality check.
So what's happening under the hood? Well, efficiency clearly takes priority over outright excitement. With its 2.0-liter turbocharged engine, the drive is incredibly composed and refined, perfect for long journeys. But make no mistake, it is absolutely not designed to thrill. The suspension expertly eats up bumps in the road, and the steering is light and predictable, though it doesn't give you a ton of feedback. And you know what? That is perfectly fine. Actually, scratch that, it's exactly the right call. It happily chooses long-distance comfort over sporty driving dynamics, which is exactly what its target audience wants.
But here is where we hit the financial reality of this whole evolution. Based on current European positioning for trims like the R-Line, the starting price is hovering right around the $40,000 mark.
And if you want it fully equipped with all the bells and whistles, that price tag takes flight, climbing to a staggering $50,000. This is a huge pivot point. At 50 grand, the Passat officially strips off its budget-friendly badge and steps precariously onto the edge of the premium segment.
Section 4. The Premium Compromise. Justifying the Ambition.
So does the new Passat actually justify this higher price tag? Let's put it head-to-head with its fiercest rival, the Skoda Superb. It's kind of an awkward standoff, to be honest. The Passat is definitely spacious, but the Superb arguably beats it when it comes to rear space. Plus, the Passat demands premium pricing, while the Superb is noticeably gentler on the wallet. And while the Passat forces you into those touch-heavy menus we just talked about, the Superb keeps those user-friendly, old-school physical buttons. Really, the Passat only pulls ahead on brand prestige and that ultra-modern, tech-forward finish. It's a very delicate balancing act.
Ultimately, is this thing still a true Passat? Well, yes, but a highly evolved one. Deep down, it remains an exceptionally spacious and practical vehicle. But it's just no longer the simple, totally safe choice. It represents a very calculated leap into premium territory, bringing along some distinct compromises, like those frustrating touch controls, a much heftier price tag, and an exterior that might just be a little too quiet for its ambitious new price bracket.
Which leaves us with one final thought. The Passat has definitively charted a course into the premium market, but the real question is whether buyers are actually going to follow it on that journey. So, looking at everything we've broken down today, do you prefer this modern, tech-heavy, and premium direction, or do you find yourself missing the straightforward tactile simplicity and the budget-friendly price tag of the older models? It's a truly fascinating evolution for a legendary car. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you on the next one.